Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal back with a new podcast. We are on the podcast 161. Again, I go by the name of Mr. Informal. And another podcast, certainly, with 4 topics. And I just want to say I hope you are healthy. I hope you are being safe. And certainly, you are in the summertime. It's hot right now. Certainly, the beach is packed. I'm sure the mall is packed due to the air conditioner. Everyone's staying home. Air conditioner, maybe people are being out there outdoors, and Independence Day is coming. So a lot of packed places with people right now. And so, please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL. And then check out my website. Got some great stuff there, articles, trends, and all written by me, and all the items are made by me. MrInformal.com, MRINFORMAL.com. And so these are the 4 topics for this Mr. Informal Podcast 161. Number 1, Jordan Brand certainly has a lot of female sports, female players represent of the brand, which is pretty cool. Number 2, used apparel is rising. That's not certainly news, but the amount of money it's creating is certainly news. Number 3, PayPal fees are rising, which I don't understand. If they're gonna raise the price, it should not be this year. And last but not least, let's not forget about the Olympics. The Olympics are coming. I'm quite excited. Certainly, there's still some restriction, but Olympics gear are gonna be there. All the attention are going to be in the players, and certainly the whole world will be watching. And hopefully Olympics become a very, very celebratory activities for people to celebrate about. And certainly these players are representing their nation, especially now where one nation could still be under China virus rule. And certainly it creates hopes and dreams, and certainly quite happiness when they see their own player get that gold medal. Those are the 4 topics for this podcast 161, and so let's start the podcast. So from hypebeast.com, this is topic number 1. Jordan Brand reveals largest female roster ever. 8 more WNBA players have signed on to rep the brand. So joining the largest women's roster in the brand's history, the Jordan Brand announced the addition of 8 WNBA players today on Twitter in its 25th season. The hallmark Jumpman of the Jordan Brand has more female players repping its logo than ever before. These amazing athletes are defining a lot of things about Jordan Brand and leading a true conversation that's impacting culture and our communities across the globe, Michael Jordan said in a statement for Nike. The new members of Jordan Brand family spoke on using their professional platforms for championing Black community initiative in press release, whether their local communities or in the WNBA dedication for the past season. See, my problem with that is that I guess I'm not saying that could be one of the players or that could be Hypebeast, but why does it always have to be the Black community? Why can't it just be women around the globe? Why can't it just be this is great. I mean, let's not bring a certain race to it. I think having more females representing especially the Jordan Brand, not just Black females, but just female in general, is a great thing. I mean, the WNBA has always been a laughing stock, a butt of all jokes when it comes to their counterpart of the NBA. But with this, it certainly brings a lot more representation towards female and also the sport of WNBA. Now, I'm not saying WNBA is not legit, but I mean, if you look at the ratings, if you look at in terms of excitement, NBA is just that much better. Certainly, I do watch WNBA from time to time, just to catch up. I like it. I like the playoffs, but not anymore. I don't watch NBA that much anymore. I don't even keep up with NBA anymore because I don't really care anymore. But when I used to, certainly the WNBA was there, especially watching their WNBA finals. But in terms of having a lot more female representative on the Jordan Brand is certainly a great impact creates a great impact, and also great role models. It can show that, hey, you can have sponsors, or you can partner up with a brand, or even have some type of brand recognition by being with the brand. And so a lot of young females out there who look up to these players and tell themselves, okay, there is a future for me being in the WNBA, or even having a great platform, or even have a great partnership with a certain brand that I could believe in. And so did those, and I'm not talking about just a certain race, I'm just talking about a female in general, because by having the WNBA, it's not just WNBA. What about women's soccer? What about women's football, I guess you can say? What about women's volleyball? I mean, just female sports in general. Jordan Brand should also look up to other sports, not just basketball in general. So second topic is used apparel from retail.com. We used apparel sales set to reach $77 billion in 5 years. More retailers join in, ThredUp finds. The segment, which may outpace the wider market even fold in that time, is upending fast fashion, according to a report for the secondhand site. So secondhand apparel sales embracing by young consumers, fueled by pandemic and outpacing wider market, is getting the attention of the retail industry. At the very least, 42% of the retailers agree that used clothing will be an important part of their business. Report found a whopping 60% of retailers have already offered or open to resell. Almost 24,000 would like to sell used clothing, and a third actually say it's become table stakes. That could be because consumers are flocking to this option, as 62% of retail executives told ThredUp that their consumers are already buying secondhand fashion. Now I have a question. What is secondhand fashion? Is it something that you buy and then you sell? That's more like a resale value. I think a secondhand should be, okay, you use the item and now it's time for you to sell the item. Because I think what's happening is that, yes, ThredUp, other sites, Real, even Grailed. I mean, would it really be secondhand fashion if I buy something and it's still new, and then I sell it? You know, I became a reseller. It's not really a used market. So I really want to know. I need to see the numbers, and I haven't seen the numbers. What is the actual amount of money that secondhand apparel is selling? Like, how much is it worth? Now, I don't think $77 billion. It's certainly lower, but it's probably secondhand sales of used apparel is still in the billions of dollars. There is no denying that. I just don't think that these numbers that Retail Dive is saying, or even ThredUp is saying, is subtracting the resale items, meaning you buy the item new and then you sell it as new. You never used it. You can't say that's secondhand, because technically that's not secondhand. And so, also in the later, scrolling down the article, it says during the pandemic, resale may have not been enjoyed quite the sales lift found inactive in outdoor clothing, but the market has emerged stronger than ever, Saunders say. Last year, secondhand sales grew modestly, while apparel in general fell hard, according to ThredUp VP. It was a pretty resilient category, and then it's expected to re-accelerate essentially out of pandemic. So there you go. I mean, don't get me wrong. I also buy a lot of second-hand items, such as in luxury goods, but that's the only thing. But if I could afford it, I'll buy it as new. I won't buy anything that I see as second-hand if I could afford it at a reasonable price. But if it's something really high, or if I really can't find the item new and I can find it secondhand, hey, why not, right? Such as Filson. Filson items is usually great at secondhand items, very buy for life items. But certainly, while the $707 billion may be an overestimate depending on the technical data or technical terms, certainly the used apparel is up there when it comes to sales, billions and billions of dollars. I don't know how much, but it's certainly in the billions of dollars. So, topic number 3, PayPal. RetailDive.com, PayPal to increase merchant fees in August. Are you serious? I mean, we're not even done with 2021 and PayPal's already thinking of raising their fees, merchant fees. No wonder eBay left them. I'm glad looks like eBay must be glad. So, PayPal plans to raise U.S. merchant fees to 3.49% per digital payment transaction from 3.40% currently on August 2 for U.S. commercial transaction, including PayPal checkout services and Venmo services. The company said in June 18 blog post in a separate fee policy notice in the same day. Meanwhile, the pioneering 23-year-old digital payments company will increase credit and debit card rates to between 2.59 and 2.99% depending on whether certain chargeback protections are included. The blog notice said fixed fees on international transactions will increase for most currencies according to policy notice. For consumers, PayPal said it plans to cut the fees on domestic donation according to 2.89%, but increase fees for instant withdrawals and bank account from 1.0 of the transferred amount, the policy notice said. Man, unbelievable. So check this out. First paragraph. PayPal's rate increase come despite a proliferation of new digital payment in recent years as financial technology startup with target digital innovations at the way consumers made payments. With the jump in e-commerce activity during China virus pandemic, rival payments method won new customers. So I don't get it. So PayPal made a lot of money last year with so many people buying online and transferring money and so. And you're telling me that they want to start increasing the price. I don't get it. If you're going to increase the price, why don't you do it next year? Not while 2021 is not even over yet. No wonder eBay left them. So a lot of merchants are not going to be happy with this. They would be like, screw this. I mean, why even go to PayPal? I'm just going to use the credit card that I have. I mean, I really don't even know why you would use PayPal now. I mean, I wish I could change my card or payment transaction or fintech other than PayPal, but I guess that's the only thing that I could use based on the store platform. So if I was the president of PayPal, I would not do this. This is a bad idea. Because this is, especially right now, this is not the time to be raising a merchant fees when retailers are just trying to get back to before the pandemic. And so, certainly, if I was a PayPal user who just buys stuff, I wouldn't be happy. What if I was selling stuff? I wouldn't be happy either. I mean, what if I was transferring money? I wouldn't be happy either. What if I was transferring money to a different country? I would not be happy either. So there's a lot of things that you could not be happy about. So I wish there's another competitor, but PayPal is quite big, and so I'm just glad that eBay stopped using them. And when that happens, I really hope PayPal changes their mind, because think about it, PayPal doesn't even have any brick and mortar. So they're just operational costs with no physical presence. They do have customer service. They do have insurance. They also have certainly the platform to do it. They're one of the biggest platforms to do it, but their fees are just getting ridiculous. What's with all these ridiculous fees happening? I really don't understand. I mean, I know inflation is coming, but gee, it's like the virus suddenly let us know that, hey, or establishes that people are just greedy. Companies are greedy. Corporates are greedy. That's all it comes down to. And it's getting ridiculous that PayPal has the nerve to even just raise up the price. Now, I'm not saying I'm against this. I'm against the timing of this. It should be next year. So, on to the last topic is Olympics. I think Olympics is coming up next month. Somewhere around next month. Or it could be in August if it gets delayed. But usually it's around July. So, it is in Japan, Tokyo, Japan. probably not in the central Tokyo, probably outside of Tokyo, but it's still Tokyo. They are limiting of only up to 10,000 people per audience in the main stadium arena or wherever the opening ceremony or any type of ceremony event. It's going to be limited up to 10,000 people, and I'm sure they're also going to limit the amount of people that are in the arenas or any other places such as gymnastics, swimming competition, fencing, ping pong, basketball certainly, football, all of that stuff. So, Olympics this year is gonna be a very, very hopeful event, especially when your country has been ravaged by the China virus. And when you see your representative, your nation's representative out there competing, getting bronze, silver, and gold, it certainly gives you the hopes and dreams that anything's possible even in this virus. And this year's Olympics, yes, it was supposed to be last year, but this year's Olympics is going to be a hopeful event. I mean, think about it, especially the U.S. where I don't think it's just not the U.S. I think it's everybody in the world that the virus has affected every one of us. I mean, if you had a family who never had the China virus, you are so lucky. And so, watching this Olympic is going to be intense. It's going to be a lot of pressure for every athlete. Not only that, the whole world is going to be watching. And the whole world is going to be watching how Japan is going to restrict and limit, and also is trying to keep the event organized and see how this goes. But it will be a celebratory event, a hopeful event, I guess. Everybody's going to be watching. The third world countries going to be watching. The countries that have been ravaged, the countries who still don't have the vaccine, they're going to be proud of that. The nation's rest. This is what I love about the Olympics, because everybody's competing, not just a couple countries or even 10 countries. Everybody's competing. It only comes one every 4 years. Certainly the Olympics and the winner rotates. But it's just one of those times when you get to be proud of your nation's representative. And it's nothing political about it, just straight up competing. Sports. Now, I don't watch sports anymore, but I like Olympics. Olympics is just one of those events that you got to be there. You got to watch, and if you cannot be there, you always got to be proud of your countrymen. And certainly the fashion will be there. The fashion houses will be decorating their nation's representative with all kinds of jerseys, all kinds of uniforms or customs or costumes, all kind of cultural dresses. I mean, it's going to be great. You also get to see the flag bearers. You can see the flags, over 300 flags all over the world, or could be more than that. And so it's going to be a fashion event. It's going to be a hopeful event. It's going to be certainly a hype event. It's certainly going to be a meme event. All kinds of things that will happen. But Olympics is certainly coming, and I can't wait to watch the opening ceremony. Certainly, the digital age that as of Tokyo will show us is near. And so that basically concludes this Mr. Informal Podcast 161. Again, I go by the name of Mr. Informal. Please do not forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, and check out my website, MRINFORMAL.com. I got some great articles there, got some great items all made by me, and I hope you listen to me from beginning to end. Hopefully I gave you some insights. Hopefully I gave you some news that you never heard before. And hopefully you just listen to me. That's all that matters. And please be safe, please be healthy. It's summertime. Go out there. Go out there anywhere but home. You understand? If you know, you know. And so basically this concludes this Mr. Mo podcast 161. I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.